Hey, it is TeeJ Mercer here. I'm known as the chief noisemaker of Media Mavericks Academy, but I'm also known as the walking exclamation point and the world's greatest hugger. I promise you, I actually have receipts for that. But as the chief noisemaker, I teach authors, experts, coaches, and entrepreneurs how to book themselves in the media without being a celebrity and without having a publicist. I got receipts to back that up too. And I'm coming to SuccessCon. Woo! I travel with applause. Don't mind me. I travel with applause. I'm coming to SuccessCon, and I am going to be dishing secrets to land you massive media exposure. So if you are an author, speaker, expert, coach, speaker, entrepreneur that needs media, you make sure you come see me. In the meantime, I have been asked by the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful organizers of SuccessCon if I would just give you a little something to tell you, to help you get started. And because I'm a giver, I'm going to give you actually crucial steps that you can implement today that's going to help you. I am going to show you 10 tips to light up your live stream, okay? So you should be seeing my screen right now. You're ready? Live stream is an acronym. If you end up following me, hanging out with me, you'll know I teach in acronyms. So it was obvious I was going to come up with an acronym for live stream. So L, listen to your audience's needs and have a plan, meaning pay attention to what people comment on the threads. Pay attention to what your audience is liking from you. And then when you go live, have a plan to deliver. I never do a Facebook Live or any kind of live or any kind of webinar without having a concrete plan of what I'm going to talk about. Now, the plan may change midstream based on some comments. I may go off on a tangent. You never know. I may tell a story. You never know. But I always show up with the plan. I do a weekly Facebook Live called Pimp Your PR Wednesday. There's never a day that I don't have some kind of plan. Even if the plan is to tell them, y'all, I don't know what we're talking about today, but I wanted to stay committed. I at least have the plan to tell them that, knowing that it's going to turn into something that's beneficial for them. I invert your introvert. I'm not saying it would probably surprise a lot of people who end up following me that I really do have introvert tendencies. And a lot of times I don't want to go live, but I do it for the sake of the people who needs me, because I am a firm believer that people are losing sleep over what I can do in my sleep, which is media. I can do media all day and I can talk publicity all day in my sleep. So if you are an introvert though, you have to muster up those 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you need to just dig deep to be there for the people that you are called to serve and go live. V, vote for content over cute. My people know that my Pimp Your PR Wednesdays, I am in the middle of my living room floor. I'm off on a corner sitting on the floor because I decided that if I gotta get cute every single time I go live, that content ain't gonna never get delivered. So it's more important for me to deliver content than have it all perfect, okay? I don't go live necessarily all the time with things just being perfect. So I vote for content over cute. And then E, excite them with your sparkle. It has to be clear you love your lane of genius. There is nothing more disturbing to me when I see people talking about what they claim to love and they're talking like Ben Stein on the what is it called? I was gonna say the Vaseline commercial, the Visine commercial. So excite them with your sparkle. Listen, it doesn't matter, just as a side note, it doesn't matter if you're doing an interview for print and you're doing it on the phone, it's gonna be translated into print, or you're doing a radio interview, or you're doing a podcast interview, you're on the phone, or in-person interview, or Facebook Live, or whatever You always show up with sparkle in your voice about your lane of genius. No matter what platform I'm on, it's going to be clear. I love talking about publicity. I remember doing a Facebook Live with an event organizer to talk about the event I was going to be speaking at for him. And he asked me after it was over if I had any feedback for him. And I was like, you sure you want me to give you feedback? And he was like, yeah, TeeJ, I want it from you. And so I was like, okay, so I can't be more excited about your event than you are. Because his level was here, and you can see me. I'm old. Now, granted, it's hard to, for somebody to match my energy, but at least we have to feel that you're excited about your subject matter. S, stare at the camera for a good sightline of intimacy. There is a difference. You can tell, if I'm looking and reading my screen, okay? You can tell. Looking closely, I'm looking down. But when I figure out and get comfortable of talking to that little bitty dot right there, that's where I zone in. That makes the listener and the viewer feel like you're the only one they're talking to. Like, do you feel that right now? Like, I'm really just talking to you. Like, I'm really only talking to you. Do you feel that? Versus when I'm here and I'm talking to the screen because I'm kind of more focused of looking at myself to make sure my hair right and all that. No, you want to stay zoomed in on that little camera. Now, it's a little bit awkward at first when you start doing it, so you just got to practice and get used to it. But it does feel awkward because you can see your screen, but you need to keep looking at that little dot right there. All right, so stare at the camera for a good sight line of intimacy. Tell on yourself if you were nervous. I can't tell you how many times that I have kind of disarmed an audience by just telling them I'm nervous. Wait, so I remember I was speaking at an event here in LA, and I live in Los Angeles, and I was on the program with Cookie Johnson, Magic Johnson's wife. She had just written Becoming Magic. I think that's the name of the book. I'm pulling a blank now. And Judge Maybelline, who was divorce court, and Patrice Washington, who is a powerhouse. She used to be Steve Harvey's Money Maven, was always on his show. And the organizer calls me one night and tells me, "You're the closing speaker." Say, what now? What? Wait, you want me to follow behind Cookie Johnson and Judge Maybelline and Patrice Washington? You want me to be last? Like, ain't nobody coming to hear me. So she was like, well, I can just tell you that God told me that you're the closing speaker. Now, as a woman of faith, I got no arguments over that. It's like, okay, it is your conference or it's your event, and you told, okay. So one of the first things I did when I went up, and I had followed Cookie Johnson, Judge Maybelline, and Patrice Washington, I had followed them. I got up and said, and told them the story. Why? Because I disarmed them. It's hard when you are a likable person. It's hard for a person to root against you. They now are not necessarily expecting me to be perfect. I've told them I'm nervous. It makes me relatable because who doesn't get nervous on some things? So I just made them my teammates. So they're essentially quietly rooting for me to do a good job. Now, I will say after that keynote, Cookie Johnson came to me and asked me if I coach on storytelling and speaking. And Cookie Johnson became one of my first clients in that space. So I knew what he was doing, putting me up last. But the point, though, I want you to really walk away with is tell on yourself if you're nervous, especially if you're new to going live. Tell them, I'm nervous, y'all, but I know I have something to teach. I know I have something for people to benefit from. So I'm just going to go live. We're going to figure this thing out. And your people, they're going to root for you. okay? R, respect your audience's time. Oh my gosh, I can't stand when people get on and say, well, we're just gonna wait for a few more people to come in and we're gonna wait 5 minutes before we get started. Why? If you tell people that you're going live at 5, go live at 5 and get to talking. Because essentially you're telling, Sally, who tuned in at 5 o'clock, anxious to hear what you're going to say, that she's not important enough for you to go ahead and get started. My people know at 5:15 on Wednesday for Pimp Your PR, they know we have a routine. The first thing I'm going to ask is, can you see me? Can you hear me? The first person that says me, yes, I launch in. I'm into content or telling whatever I've decided that I'm talking about that day within 60 seconds, 90 seconds at most, if I'm trying to share it out or something like that. But respect your audience's time. If they're tuning in and they're waiting for you, get going. Don't wait on anybody. Because over time, you will train them. TeeJ is going to start teaching at 5:15. But if you waiting for somebody to come on, oh, she gonna I'll tune in at 5:20 when she really getting going. And then everybody gonna be late. E, engage them in dialogue, not just a monologue. Whenever I teach a webinar or live stream, I'm fully engaged with the chat. I'm talking back to people. Sometimes I miss saying hello to them as they come in, but I ask them questions. I make it feel like we're having a conversation. So this is a recording. So it's going to feel like a monologue, but hopefully it doesn't, because then you feel like TeeJ is your best friend in your head by the time you meet me. But engage them. Don't have it be a one-sided conversation. Comment on what they're saying back to you. Read their comments out loud, or at least ask them questions so that you can actually let them know you see them, you respect them, and you want it to be a dialogue. A, activate your authenticity, credibility, and raw transparency. I did it essentially here. I've walked this out. I led off with my street cred. I've worked on some of the biggest shows on television, and I was a behind-the-scenes producer for Shaft and Night School, a whole bunch of other projects. My credibility, that's it. My authenticity and raw transparency. I just told y'all the situations where I got nervous, being behind powerhouses. So I just made myself relatable, that no matter, how seasoned I may seem, I still get nervous at times. There's certain environments that make me nervous. I would think that you can relate to that and me telling the truth. Now, I've become known for, I tell the whole story and I tell stuff. I'm not saying everybody do that. I know I'm called to do that because the people that follow me appreciate that they are not in it alone. So me telling my stuff helps them be a little more freer and less hard on themselves, for lack of a better word. So activate your authenticity, credibility, and transparency. And then the last one, M, make sure your lens is clean. Clean your lens. So if you're going from your phone, if you're going live from your cell phone, most likely you're going to have the phone this way and your camera is right here. Watch this. A lot of times if we're not on Bluetooth or headset, we're talking with the phone right up against our ear. The oil from your face is getting on your camera, which is why you'll see videos in your feed that actually are blurry or something like that, because the oil. So clean your lens so we can see you in all your crispness. All right. So that is the 10 tips to light up your live stream. I am looking forward to seeing you in September at SuccessCon. Get your tickets. Make sure you look at the schedule to find your new best friend, TeeJ, to make sure you come to my session, because we actually are loud and noisy in my session. I've had conferences have to tell me I have to tone down and be quiet because we are a rowdy bunch. But I guarantee you that it will not be time wasted. And I am going to teach you, if you have a business, a book, or a brand that you want to make noise about and get massive media exposure, I am your girl. I'm packing a whole bunch of extra hugs when I come from LA to Mississippi. So make sure you stop me, say hi. Even if you see me around the venue, stop me, say hi, and say, TeeJ, I watched your recording. Show me some love. I'm needy like that. I like to be loved. See, that's my transparency. All right, so I will see you in September. Get your tickets. Until then, bye.